Guys, check this out. I want to talk to you about marine flooring, about the decking that we all see on so many different boats, right? And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You've heard of names like Express Dek and Aqua Traction, and there's a whole variety of them out there. And I wanted to just share my experience with you because I'm sure it's very, very similar to what you've experienced or what you have heard, okay? Now, you guys know I'm in a 41-foot Sea Hunter. I've had the boat now for a year. When I built the boat and took delivery last November, I had to make a decision about my deck. And you know what I decided? No way. That was my decision. I wasn't doing it. I've had boats in the past that had Sea Dek, that had Aqua Traction. I've been through them all. And you know what I realized? That it's absolutely awesome the day you get it. It looks great. But from there, I really encountered a number of different problems. So it gave me a bad taste in my mouth. And after multiple boats with decking and, you know, the experiences that I had, I was very, very hesitant on doing it again. So hesitant where it wasn't even an option. I said, no, I don't want to do it. And some of the reasons were, you know, not the cleaning issue, because a lot of guys bring that up. They go, hey, it's hard to clean, and it really isn't hard to clean. That wasn't an issue at all. It was pieces failing, pieces peeling up, and having to get them repaired and replaced, which took a lengthy period of time. And it's just absolutely awesome. But when one piece to the puzzle is messed up, it really makes the entire boat look terrible. And then somebody introduced me to a relatively new company in this, you know, arena called Express Dek. Express Dek has been around for a couple of years. Michael is the head of Express Dek, okay, him and Daniel. Daniel's in the back actually applying my deck as we speak. And this is a really interesting story because you're gonna hear it all from beginning to end, along with an exciting challenge that we put to these guys here, okay? What I realized, you know, Michael has said to me, hey, look, you like the benefits of the decking, of the marine flooring. Number one, aesthetically, it's absolutely awesome. Fully customizable, and anytime that you're able to customize something to your liking, the end result is generally awesome. So it looks great, there's no question, and it enhances the appearance of any boat. I don't care what boat you're in. You can apply this marine decking and your boat's gonna look better. If it's brand new, it's gonna look better. If it's a pre-owned boat, it's gonna look better, all right? So aesthetically, it's really, really awesome. But it's not only about looks, it's about functionality, right? Like, we're not doing it just because it looks great. It also has some deeper benefits. You know, number one, sound dampening. So it really reduces the sound. If you're opening, you know, I don't want to say opening, but if you drop things on the deck, if you're fishing shore and you're walking on the deck, you know, again, it just really makes the entire scenario more comfortable, okay? Comfort, that's huge. Huge. If you're out on the water all day long walking on the fiberglass deck, right, versus walking on this type of marine flooring, you're going to be far more comfortable at the end of the day, less fatigued and far more comfortable. So it's not only, we'll call it aesthetically appealing, fashionable, but it's incredibly functional. It's also safer, so it doesn't slip. You don't slip. It's got traction. So when you're getting on and off the boat, swim platforms, even of course on the deck of the boat, you're not gonna slip around, you're not gonna fall, and that is another, excuse me, another huge benefit. Now, again, I wanna remind you, every single boat is custom made for that boat. It's not a, you know, out of the package type of scenario. The entire deck is custom made for the boat. And we're gonna talk about how they do that in a second. And that means that you can expect a custom fit. And once again, anytime you have a custom design product with a custom fit, the end result is usually incredible. But it's all of those bad things that came along with it. I felt like I was constantly replacing pieces. I've become an expert at applying this product. I really have, because I've replaced so many pieces, and that's why I've had such a bad taste in my mouth. But when I was introduced to Express Dek, and when you had said to me, you said, look, what if you can enjoy all of the benefits of this type of deck, right? You can enjoy the aesthetic appeal, you can enjoy the functionality of it, and what if we eliminated all of the bad, the bad taste in your mouth, so to speak? And I said, well, how are you gonna do that? I said, because if you can do that, I'm game. Well, here we are. Another huge factor was Michael said to me, hey, look, we could come out, we could design your boat, we could template your boat, we could create a design, we could manufacture, we can install and have the entire project done in 14 business days or less. So for me, I was like, used to a couple of months, 30 to 60 days at a minimum from past experiences. So to have this entire job done from beginning to end in 14 days or less, I was sold. Okay, I said, okay, you know what? I got to hear more. Even more importantly, Michael, you said to me, this is what he said to me, word for word. He said, we know pieces could potentially rip up and fail. I've had it happen many, many times. Suddenly you have a piece that's flapping in the wind, it's halfway up. You don't want to rip the whole thing up because then you have a big bare spot on your boat, but you don't want to just leave it because now you have half of it is just flapping around, looks very unprofessional, doesn't look clean. And you know what? I'm very detail oriented. I'm very detail oriented in how I fish. I'm very detail oriented in how my boat looks and preparation. So every little factor was huge. And Michael said to me, he goes, look, we know that. He goes, so we take a number of different measures to alleviate your concerns, starting with preparation and how important it is that the deck be prepared properly, that the surfaces where it's going to be applied are prepared properly. And to do that, that's labor intensive, and labor equals money, expense, right? So a lot of companies, they just don't do that. Adhesives, right? Primers, the application process, more importantly, or equally as important, how the product is applied and considering how the sun and the water and the harsh marine environment are going to affect this product. Look, if you keep your boat in a garage, under a shaded awning, whatever, in a warehouse, and it only sees the light of day for a fraction of its lifespan, the decking from any company could potentially last you the life of the boat. But that's not how I fish. I'm hardcore. This boat's out in the elements. I'm in the Florida Keys. It doesn't get any harsher than this. The sun is baking on this product, okay? The salt water. And let me tell you something, what happens, which you need to understand this. You've got the sun reflecting off the fiberglass, reflecting onto the material, onto the adhesives, softens the adhesives, starts to peel. That's a huge part of the problem. You have water pooling in certain areas, that softens the adhesive, starts to peel. Another big problem. And again, every time you need a piece replaced or repaired, it could be a lengthy process. I've experienced it, don't tell me otherwise, I'm telling you firsthand. Michael says to me, well, I'll tell you what, Mike, if a piece ever does come up, which we highly doubt because we prepare the surfaces properly, we do the adhesion process properly, which I'll let Michael explain that. But in the rare event that a piece does get damaged or needs to be repaired, we can have it manufactured, delivered, or potentially even installed in 48 hours or less. Sometimes same day. Same day. I call them up in the morning, go, hey, I got a piece that's messed up. They could create it and potentially install it on the same day. But even 2 days, 3 days, whatever, I'm perfectly happy with that. So they were able to really alleviate all of my concerns. And I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give this a shot. I came in, I spent a lot of time with their team, designing our exact layout. You guys spent so much time with me explaining where we should or shouldn't apply pieces to ensure longevity and the durability of the product, right? You came in with this fancy schmancy technology. I can't even tell you the name of this equipment, but I know it cost a ton of money and very detail oriented. You guys came in, spent hours and hours detailing the boat. And by the way, By the way, that was last Wednesday. Today is Friday. So we are at 9 business days. My challenge to them was to do the entire project in their recommended time frame of 14 days. We're at 9 days, almost half. I want to just tell you straight up a couple of things. Cleaning has always been a big issue, right? People are always concerned, hey, look, it's very hard to clean. Let's be honest with each other, right? You're a fisherman. If you go out and bail on dolphin and have 30 or 40 dolphin flipping all around the boat, you know, you're in a hot bite, blood and guts everywhere. The sun is at 110 degrees in the middle of July here in the Florida Keys, and you don't touch the fish or touch the deck for an hour, yes, it's going to be challenging to clean. Of course it is. Any surface is going to be challenging to clean. So you just got to use some common sense. And even when it is very dirty, we're not saying a hose is going to blow everything off. It's dried up blood and guts. You may have to put a little bit of elbow grease. You may have to use, you know, something like a powder laundry detergent with OxyClean. That'll really, really clean it up, you know, in the event it's really bad. Let's start right at the beginning. You template the boat, okay? I had a design to look at 24 hours after they left my boat. In 24 hours, you guys sent me my first design, my first draft to look at and say, hey, is there anything at all that I want to change? I took a look at everything. There were a couple of very minor adjustments. 24 hours later, I had my final proof, and literally the next day we were scheduling an installation date. How do you do it?
It's not too difficult, but we have a good process. And Mike, thank you for the introduction. I probably don't even have to say much more from here.
But I want them to know, I want you to tell them, you know, and it doesn't, of course, look, we don't want to share any proprietary information, right? These guys are growing this business.
Yep.
And they obviously have cracked the code. They've cracked the code, but more importantly, they're not naive to the fact of the environment that we're in. They're fishermen and boaters themselves, okay? So they experience the same thing that you and I experience, so they know what we're dealing with, right?
Absolutely.
And you were able to come up with a way on how you could expedite the entire system. This is a C-Hunter 41-foot CTS. It is a monster catamaran, huge deck, huge. Not only did we do the deck, I took it to a whole other level. We wrapped the console, okay, for a number of reasons, comfort, aesthetics, also to stop that reflection,
yep, exactly,
right, which is going to ensure longevity and durability. We did some accent work at the dock by the fillet table, by our Boat Outfitters Ultimate Fillet Table. We did the inside of my rigging station, some of the surfaces where we do some rigging. So this is a really extensive project, and you pulled it off in 9 days. Your typical boat could probably be half of that time.
Absolutely.
You know, half of that time.
We've gotten boats done in 24 hours for customers because they were in a pinch, needed to deliver a boat on time, and you know, we're capable of doing those things. And it all started from a bad experience with another company. You know, we hired a company, I won't name any of them, and what I thought was, you know, poor service ended up being the industry standard. You know, it was 6 weeks gone on from the time they scanned the boat till never receiving a rendering of what it's going to look like.
Right.
And, you know, I came from an industry that was high urgency and everything mattered. Customer service was imperative. Without that, you're out of the business. And I took the same approach. I said, how can we take this business and give it a better customer-centric experience? And I found that, okay, all these other companies are doing, they're all third party, right? So you have a guy that comes out, you have another company that cuts, another company that does the designs. It's too much.
So very, very time intensive, labor intensive. You know, you've got one guy do another guy do another guy.
Yep.
And you know what? That also leaves a lot of room for error.
100%.
Leaves a lot of room for error.
That's another part of this industry for us has been fantastic. So we took everything and we brought all aspects of this industry in-house. So we do the scanning or the templating, right?
So you do it all.
We do it all. The designing, the cutting, the installation, the prepping, all of it. All
Gotcha. So these guys do it all. So there's the secret sauce right there, right? So now you don't have all of these other middlemen that are taking so much more time, so much more effort. And one thing that I really liked is you guys spent so much time with me explaining why the product fails,
Yes.
you know? And not only did they explain it, we actually pulled up some pieces that were applied to my boat that were not applied properly. How important is that surface prep? How important is the adhesion process?
I think it's one of the most important aspects of this. If you don't prep the surface properly, you don't use the right adhesion, like what we do on this particular deck with the diamond deck, because it's so abrasive or so, it has such deep grooves.
Right.
We run a double adhesive on the back of this. You know, outside of that, you want to make sure you seal around the edges, not come to the edge of the non-skid, but past that, because that's where you're going to get a better seal.
Right.
And that's a big problem, especially with these non-skids. If you don't get past the edge and get a good seal, water's going to intrude right under those diamond decks, and then it's only time before that starts coming up.
Right. So it's a closed cell PE foam. Closed cell means liquid, blood, grime, guts is not getting into it.
Right.
This decking, yeah, it's great on a 41-foot cat, but there's so many other uses: bay boats, flat skiffs, wave runners, you know? I mean, it goes on and on. Again, you're gonna see it on my dock. Pre-owned boats. What a great way
Yep.
to beef up a pre-owned boat, make it look like new again. Maybe you wanna sell it, right? And it's a great investment in a boat that I know you'll get back on the back end if you've got all brand new decking on the boat. So fully customizable. You see I chose a nice gray with a navy kind of outline piping to match the theme of our Sea Hunter, but the possibilities are endless.
Oh.
Patterns,
Yep.
colors,
Logos, you name it.
logos, competitively priced, and trust me, I did my homework, okay? I went out, I contacted the other guys. Michael, where do you guys service? What area?
Great. So right now we are Key Largo to Key West. You know, we live here, so we're locals to the Florida Keys. I can't tell you how many times we're running into customers, which is an absolute pleasure because we do good business.
Once again, I'm gonna show you the complete finished product, but more importantly, over time, I'm gonna update you. I'm telling you right now, Michael, I'm updating them, okay? In real time, what's happening, what the deck looks like, and if there are any issues, which I'm okay. Look, if something does happen to a piece, it's okay with me. It's not the end of the world. I wanna know, will it be repaired or replaced as quickly as you guys claim? And that, hopefully, you won't even have to find out, but we'll see. We'll see. So far, couldn't be happier. I know you guys are gonna absolutely love the way that the boat looks once it's done. Michael, anything else that you wanna add?
Oh, I think you covered most of it. Absolutely.
Okay. If you're considering it, do it. And no job is too small. I've had even buddies who I've already referred who just needed an accent piece.
Correct.
Or a repaired piece
Yep.
from somebody else. Remember that. Look, let me end this by saying this. If you're dissatisfied with the deck that you've had installed, don't call the same company to repair the deck that you've had installed. That doesn't make sense,
No.
okay? Because the same exact thing is gonna happen. They didn't change their processes and procedure. So try Express Dek, guys. Give them a whirl, all right? Tell them I sent you, all right? Their reputation is on the line. It is, but I'll tell you what, so far I couldn't be happier.